This is Marianne, surviving my 80s, and I said I was going to slow down, and I have, and I've missed you, but I'm going to pop in once in a while. So this is a pop-in, and I want to talk about a certain spice. Spices and herbs, they sort of blend or blur together, and so is it an herb or is it a spice? But let me tell you about one, and it's one we don't use much, we don't really think that much about, but I just want to talk about it today because it is really a good herb, and I wanted to just share some of the things. And it's allspice, and it's well named allspice because they've done blind sniff tests, and people have said it's black pepper, juniper berry, but most often it is confused with cloves. And I was smelling the other day the lid, and it does have, oh, it has a nice smell to the lid. Let's see. It smells, actually, the clove has a sort of a harsh smell, where I think the whole allspice has more of a soft smell, but similar to the cloves. So that would be my guess. But let me tell you a little bit about it. Medicinally, allspice has possesses antiviral, antibacterial qualities, and making it a fighter for infection. And remember, our spices, even though they're little, they're just bursts of treasure houses of vitamins and minerals and different things that really help us. And also were used to preserve. A lot of them was used with meat to preserve the meat or the whatever we were making, so it either didn't mold or didn't spoil, or it kept it from getting some of those bad germs in it. Okay. Also, it is a bit like, it works as a mild pain relief, and it can even help alleviate colds, soothe a stomach ache, regulate menstrual cycle, relieve indigestion and gas and other digestive woes. And just a bit of, I don't know, interest on it. The Russian soldiers during Napoleon's army in 1812, they would sprinkle cloves. Well, it was the Russian soldiers that did it, but they were fighting against Napoleon in 1812. And they would sprinkle the cloves, the ground cloves, into their boots to help keep their feet warm and the circulation going. And people have done that with cayenne too, I think. And it's also antifungal, so it was also a good thing to put into their boots. Okay, allspice is loaded with antioxidants, and remember, there's a lot of talk about that now. And they found that there are 25 active phenols, a category of antioxidants in allspice. And one of them is, I don't know if I'll say it right, lactic acid. And if you're following Jim and Renda on Grow Your Own Supplements, that was one they talked about. I think it was the second one they talked about. Well, allspice has it in it. And some of the things and they're a bit controversial right now over that acid, because some people are saying it's a real cancer cure, and I don't know if it does, but I'm sure it would help. because it's an antioxidant. Okay, and so they fight oxidative cell damage that can lead to cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, and other chronic health problems. And it said allspice may have other healing properties that they haven't even found yet. So that's, and then that's in my Healing Spices book. Another one talks about it, and it says it's time to expand our the horizon of allspice use. Oh, but that's okay. I wanted to talk about its properties. It's antibacterial, antioxidant, antispasmodic, antiviral. It helps the circulatory stimulant, and it also in this other book it talked about, and maybe it's this book too, that it allspice is a great digestive aid, helping to lighten the load, assisting in the breakdown of heavy foods. So it helps us in our meal, especially if we're eating a real heavy meat dish or something creamy, or it would help. Okay, then allspice is high in vitamins and minerals, including calcium, iron, manganese, and so forth. Now, isn't it something that just the little allspice berry, I'll open one up and show you what they look like. I don't know. I'll put them there. But they're bigger than a peppercorn. In fact, it's said that Christopher Columbus got all excited when he saw them. He thought he had discovered another place where pepper was grown. And remember, pepper was really quite an expensive spice during that time. And so he was quite disappointed when it wasn't. But it was still a good find. Okay, well, what am I going to do with it? And what can you do with it? Okay, wait just a minute. This book talks about different uses. Let's go over, okay, well, naturally we have it in our pumpkin pie spices, we have it in our apple pie spices, we have it in some of our spice cakes, we have it in mulled cider, but, okay, you can sprinkle it on with cinnamon and allspice on your toast. You could use it with juniper berry and allspice, and make an oil, flavored oil, and drizzle it over your potatoes and baked root vegetables. You could add ground allspice to your pancakes, muffins, cookies, breads, so forth, biscuits. But what I'm doing with it, and also what I've done in the past, when it's wintertime, I add it to my hot drinks, like cocoa. One winter, I just couldn't get enough of hot cocoa, and I used the good stuff. And by the way, think organic when you think about these little spices, because otherwise they're going to be sprayed heavily. Okay, anyway, I ground it up, put it in my hot chocolate drink. But today what I want to do is make a Chinese 5-spice. So let me just share that with you, and that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, Chinese 5-spice powder usually uses, and this I probably won't say right, Sichuan peppers, and they want you to use 2 tablespoons. Well, if some of you may be like me and don't have that, well, you can substitute allspice and aniseed and do it that way. So that's what I'm doing today. And so we're gonna go, I'll show you what the recipe is. We'll grind it in the grinder, and it's 3-star Anastar pods. I think they are so beautiful, and they smell so good. So 3 of those, and then we're going to substitute those peppercorns that I talked about, and we're going to do 1 tablespoon of allspice. So there's my allspice, and it's going in, and 1 tablespoon of anise seed. Okay, we'll put that in. And then it also takes 1 tablespoon of fennel, and believe it or not, 1 tablespoon of whole cloves. There they go. And last, a 3-inch stick of cinnamon. Now, let me tell you, do not put a cinnamon stick in your coffee grinder or your spice grinder. What I do, I put my cinnamon stick in a baggie, and then I beat it. I'm not going to do that, well, like that, but you want to beat it up, get it in smaller pieces, and then you can put it in your grinder. But remember, this would have the cinnamon stick in there. And then you grind it up. And I've already done that. And here is my powder. And it smells wonderful. Well, I like the taste of it. And this little jar here is about 1/4 of a cup of what I made, and it will keep up to 6 months, but I doubt if it will. And actually, I'm going to grind up this other. I'm going to share it with neighbor's son. So that's making Chinese 5-spice powder. And I have a chicken in the back that I'm going to take apart and make a dish that I can spice up with my Chinese 5-spice powder today. So there you have it, and have a good day. And don't forget, Allspice is really a powerhouse. Use more of it.